blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities. A blade embraces its duty as a jeweler.
Take it easy.
So, are these the ruins the knave was talking about? Whoa, talk about old.
They seem to be pretty ancient, all right.
Let's go in and have a look.
Just be careful.
Good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one more day off and knock out the rest of the work once I'm feeling up to it.
Stay close and you will live.
I must leave no stone unturned. Steady us.
Shine down!
Quietly now.
Take flight! Embrace the ice!
Here comes the catch.
Watch it! The floor here isn't safe!
There is no escape!
Whirling snow! wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
This place has also been contaminated by primordial seawater.
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontanian would most likely dissolve the
Right! You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous and it won't be any help for you. Don't get my wrong.
No, you're right. I can't do anything in this situation. I'll leave this to you. That complicates things.
In that case, do you...
The water levels here are unstable, and I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit just up...
All right. Oh no, it's a dead end! Let's try climbing over from the side.
Wait, there's something wrong with this bridge!
Demoiselle?
Huh?
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself? Would you be standing here till...
Maybe she just wants some time to herself.
Oh.
Yes,
That's quite possible.
Oh. This is a...
Is something the matter?
Oh, I was just trying...
Do you remember...
We were headed to...
Right.
Oh, Miss Navia. Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too.
How have...
I've been great. They were knocking at...
Sometime...
Oh, yes. Miss Navia, these are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. I don't know what...
Did you...
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, Demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants for some of Mrs. Burnett's flowers.
Very well.
Wait. Something seems to be off here. Excuse me, madam. If I'm not mistaken, your name is Burnett, correct?
That's right. Is something wrong?
No, it's nothing. This is the first time we've ever met, but your name seemed familiar to me. I must have heard it when I was discussing things with your husband previously. I've heard this name before. Sometime recently, I'm sure of it. And why are there so few people around here? Where did everyone go?
We must mind the time, demoiselle. We still have important things to attend to today.
Huh? We do? Like what?
Well, now, did you forget?
Miss Navia, here you are! I've been looking for you. Please, come to the Opera House. Your trial is about to begin.
My trial? Wait, why would I need to go to the Opera House?
Yes, she's right, demoiselle. It's just about time now, so we should get going.
Oh? All right then.
Look, it's Navia! She's here!
And her two attendants are with her! Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be oddly excited about something. I even know some of these people. Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen. Why are so many people here? And why do I have no recollection of this case? And as for the judge... huh? Where's Monsieur Neuvillette?
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry, Silver and I shall accompany you.
All right. But... me?
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed, but today is an exception.
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on, do they have any idea what they're doing?
Seriously.
Enough with the whispering! Could someone please tell me where Monsieur Neuvillette is? And why I'm standing trial?
My dear Miss Navia, have you not yet realized what you've done? In that case, allow me to explain. As all here know, you are Master Callus's successor, the head of the Spina di Rosula, someone held in high regard by every soul in Poisson. After you took over the Spina, you treated all of us just like the late Master Callus had. If anyone in need reached out to you for help, you responded. Not only you, but your butler, your subordinates, nearly everyone in the Spina di Rosula fought for the well-being of those in Poisson.
Wait a moment. Aren't you just proving that I'm a good person?
Yes, correct. Absolutely right. And that is why you stand accused. You have helped so many people get through so many difficulties. You are one with us. We are inseparable. We are one big family, all of us who are from Poisson, inextricably linked. And with you being so important, we couldn't possibly do without you. Therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you guilty, and you shall stay here. You will be together with us forever.
Huh? What are you saying? Everything you have said is correct. I have indeed done a lot for my hometown, and I would be willing to be with you all, but what is the purpose of having me stand here like this? What is there to discuss?
Ah, well, if that's what you think, then I have no further comments.
How wonderful, Miss Navia!
I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now. Yes, I get it. This trial is...
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now. She's guilty!
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mistress Ronville, you only know of Navia's goodness, but nothing of her utterly independent mind.
She was born a free and independent spirit. She has never been tied down by anything. Indeed...
Her action... Please do not
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontanians here. Even if everything is... Now I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay.
And you would call this justice? Have you forgotten how much...
Do you mean...
If your justice is...
As you said, we can also have our own justice. And that...
Demoiselle!
Silver, I remember now. Everything that's Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
Don't be afraid, and don't admit guilt.
Absurd! Who are you to say don't let them escape?
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to... After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
What are you saying? No more excuses.
He says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an independent
What's with these people?
Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us!
Miss... not...
Silence!
That's...
Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion. The court will...
Our thanks.
Please leave with...
But...
Go on now, demoiselle. This is your...
Malus.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that...
Malus... Silver...
Quickly, you...
Goodbye. Demoiselle.
Farewell.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive, and they were defending me at some insane trial.
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare? Paimon could give you a hug.
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. You were just about... I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only... Were it not for their intervention...
Wait, did you say
Perhaps those...
I always...
Please come with...
Neuvillette, are you okay?
Oh, I am...
Why do you look... Oh, Paimon...
I merely thought that we should give Navia's...
Huh?
Ah, Sigewin.
No way, don't worry.
I see.
Oh, and the
Thank you.
He still doesn't know what... So...
Yes, in fact. Amid my astonishment...
Yeah, we...
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
All right! Another one goes to the party! Let's get going then!
Busted.
Take flight!
Gotcha.
Steady as stone.
My apologies.
Oh no, another unstable path. Watch your step. Watch out! There are rocks falling over here!
What are the odds?
Illusion shattered. Sakura swirl.
I must leave no stone unturned.
Quietly now.
As a dutiful maid would. I'll catch up. I'll catch up. It seems we're almost at the top. Keep it up!
Busted. Things are about to get done.
Shine down. Torn to oblivion. Whirling snow.
Steady as stone.
Gotcha.
Kamisato art. Sumetsu.
Game's up. Fun's over.
As a good knight should. I must leave no stone unturned. looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden spaces in the vicinity.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates? It seems like they were put here as an offering. Could we take them down and have a look?
Perhaps we should just leave them be for now.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that should be in the first empty spot is missing.
The surrounding walls also show signs of damage.
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that this nation be destroyed. I shall record the history of its future here.
It feels like some...
That would fit this.
There's a person.
And the 4th image.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters. And more information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it. Most likely due to
Don't blame yourself.
Ooh, the Paimon's getting the chills just... This says that it... Still...
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the 4th, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before...
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the 3rd image. That means that the person in the 2nd image might be the previous Hydro Archon.
Egeria, then. I had never met her. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies.
Did she herself commit that sin? Also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their content...
But who...
It seems that any further clues will have to come from Farina.
In that case, there's no time to lose. There's nothing else to be gained here, so let's head back for...
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
Let's split up here. I'm going to check on what's happening with...
You still...
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your heart, Traveler. I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my...
Are you really gonna talk?
She has long been...
Alright.
I will be careful.
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house... Alright.
We're finally back!
Welcome back.
Yay! And there's good food! Paimon's already starting...
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think it is?
Huh?
It's you two. What are you doing in
Seriously, nobody just uses a scryglass whenever they've got time to just see who they'll meet on the road.
Still, we didn't expect to see you here. Wait, you're not a Fontanian, are you, Mona?
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. I was just out for a stroll when I bumped into you. Quite unexpectedly, if I might add. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadt surname?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when she took me as her disciple that the first step to being a great astrologist's pupil was to change that name. There was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to what it is now according to her wishes. To my surprise, however, Magistus is not the name of some ancient house or clan.
It isn't?
Nope. Although it is used by us in place of surnames, it generally just means great.
Wow! Imagine including a boast in your name.
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if I were to take one. Astromancer Barbeloth Trismegistus.
Whoa, that's a long one.
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is, in plain speech, the thrice-as-great Scholar of the Stars. Just take it as a title specific to astrologists.
Thrice as great? That's so petty.
I know, right? That's just how she is. She used to call herself Magistus, actually, but when she took me in, she changed.
Talk about excessive.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right if you don't get it. You can look into it further should you need to study astrology more deeply.
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not fun.
Well, I was born.
Oh, that's a good thing.
There's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the Steambird invited me to take part in a panel and speak about the invitation was sent quite early on. I don't think anyone expected Fontaine to be in this much trouble.
What do you make of that prophecy, Mona? Just tell us what you think as an astrologer.
What I can tell you, I'm afraid, but on the flip side...
A visionary?
Of course. The old hag could do it, and I'd bet there are others amongst those Hexenzirkel colleagues of her.
Thanks, Mona! You're amazing!
Oh, well,
That's the greatest of astrology!
Indeed.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about.
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving us suspicious... If Paimon hadn't spoken for you, it'd be you getting all the weird looks! The things Paimon does for you! That's more like it. Good morning. To be honest, Paimon's still feeling kind of sleepy. But it's time to get up, Trav.
Lord Yervalet and Lady Farina, they seem to have...
Like I said, I've already explained everything!
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for... It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not. I will say this once more. You must tell... Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know anything about those?
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that. But you found them in some ancient ruins, you say?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 featured different images that seemed to correlate to the prophecy.
The prophecy?
The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know nothing of this either?
I don't. I've never seen such slates.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would know about it, it should be you.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing following your inquiries. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
So you've been watching me all this time, have you? Or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me, your Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. It'll all turn out fine. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't seem in the mood to care if we were listening in or not.
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh! You noticed! Seems Farina didn't even realize we were here.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot allow to continue. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep refusing to engage? Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless absolutely forced to. We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but to speak.
Oh? Like what?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro Archon experience just such a scenario.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure that she won't just slip away at the first chance she gets?
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we can. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must prevent the prophecy from coming to pass. This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious, and so we must take a chance on this. But who will lend us their aid to do such a thing?
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. that naturally.
And here you are drinking.
That's what family...
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Careful.
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me?
Then, how about you?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become...
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh?
Well, it's just an expression.
Huh? Didn't you say that you would be facilitating?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice.
I see.
He is glad that you consider him your...
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were...
I'm afraid not. Though that was their name. Today, a trap so...
For me, our line of...
You use some of those techniques while...
Yes, and
I'm afraid I can't claim that as...
And I can...
With discretion.
I remember that you...
I did.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I feel...
That makes sense. But I do have one more question. If we were to create... If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also...
Wait.
Only a hunter who...
We hadn't...
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, but we shall require much more courage than...
Oh, so that...
The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water. Transitory.
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? So much has been happening. Paimon didn't think Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it. It's hard to say. Paimon, after all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that. Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything till...
Who's that?
Ah, have you forgotten me already?
Wait, you are familiar.
The voice from the sky, You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previous. Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim. The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What? Then is there any way we can stop?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed? Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden? Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive?
What is she talking about? It all sounds...
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant, but others you must reach out to change. Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. This was good.
The voice. Hey, it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Mona!
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. It turned out to be more interesting than I expected. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and...
Did she have pink?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. I'm in full support.
That's right! Paimon...
yes. About what we... Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon. Most people would believe the gods to be all-knowing, right?
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direction is incredible, and that she loves guiding those who are lost. But I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be... Well, suffice it to say that the hag's at least a few hundred now, and N's been around for longer than that.
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a scary group. But they must really stay in shape to live so long.
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great importance.
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. She didn't say when or what that would be, though, so... Perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now. Traveler, Paimon?
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now.
I see. I feel that same sense of death. I guess you could consider me someone who has... But even so, perhaps that's what N was trying to... I did originally...
Huh. You do have a point.
It was worth trying, I suppose.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by. told, the Fortress of Meripede has continued in its noble autonomy. My recent attempt thus didn't. So while the journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet, the Traveler's Trail World Walker. Huh. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us, she hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter instead? Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. Those headlines and photos do look cool.
Over here.
Lynette's not joining us?
I've had her follow. Still, I don't think that today will be when Caesar. Before long, I had to.
Art is the key ingredient in fine dining. What exactly?
So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time.
You neglected to mention that you were bringing 2 other...
My apologies.
Oh, forget the pleasantries, just sit.
Get a load of this guy.
I only agreed to meet...
Much obliged, sir. Yesterday morning, I have to get to the bottom of this to ensure that...
What is there to investigate? Caesar was the...
Please, sir.
Possibility. The weasel is dead. Period. Everyone knows...
Oh, my pride...
Your pride?
I want to find out...
What would that...
Uh-oh. This is...
Renzo? Is that...
Another day, I'm...
Oh, come on!
If I wanted your...
Sorry, my good sir. I don't believe I've had...
Oh, hey! This is your first... and he wonders why he can't get a girlfriend, despite being...
Shut up and get out of my face. Another word out of you... I think it's high time I made a move as well. If you really want to investigate this, Linny, be my guest. But if nothing good comes of it, don't say I didn't warn you.
Well, that fell to pieces and...
Totally! He's gotta be...
I think so too. That guy Edmondo's...
blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities.
You okay there?
Who are you? Oh, it's you guys. Don't worry about me. I must have had one too many. I just need to ride it out. I say way too much back there, didn't I? Yeah, I nearly talked myself into complete financial ruin. Note to self, no more drunken chats when Lorenzo's around.
So, he was serious about threatening to cut you off? Ugh, Paimon knew he was a bad egg!
Hey, just keep your voice down. Don't go prying into Lorenzo's personal affairs. Bad things happen to people who ask too many questions, or make an enemy out of him.
What kind of bad things?
Don't even ask. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut this conversation short. I'm not crossing that line again. And take it from me, trouble with Lorenzo is one thing you don't need in your life. You saw him flare up back there. I don't know what you said to him, but clearly it touched a nerve. That's not a good sign. You're too young for this. Don't get in over your head. I'm leaving.
And there he goes. What do we do now, Lenny?
Shh! I think we're being watched. Someone was listening in to our whole conversation. Don't say anything and don't look back. Any altercation in the city will attract the guards. We'd better take this elsewhere.
We're here! Paimon's hungry. Should we go in and get something to eat? Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it! Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go! Paimon's sure!
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all! Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Neuvillette was right. You really can eat.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore? What would you think?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe the waters will rise tomorrow. You know, like in the prophecy.
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No, still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me from having some today. No, it's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call being sad.
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about humans. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily, yes, and you can only lift their spirits by feeding them delicious food. So please try the cakes here. I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after eating, all right? Bye.
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. I'm unsure this cake will be delicious. It's more delicious than last time, and the flavor gets even better with a sip of tea. It sure would be nice if we could come again tomorrow. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food here. Oh, we're near the Seabird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
A blade and...
You followed us a long way. Why don't...
So you're Linny. And save us a tr-
Paimon doesn't like the tone of your voice, mister!
Save your
Now, I'm not...
Don't worry,
There is no escape!
And voila! Let's get this show on the road!
Curses. They're tougher than we thought. Come on, let's scram!
Hey, wise guys! We ain't through it! Oh, they got away! Did you catch? Sounds like they just wanted to rough us up as a scare tactic. You're right. Maybe she was...
Let's head back to the...
Take flight! Whirling snow!
Leave it all to me.
Illusion shattered!
My apologies.
There is no escape!
As a dutiful maid would.
Here comes the catch.
Steady as...
Whirling snow!
Illusion shattered! Now you shall perish!
I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me.
How long will it take if I set out from here?
If I had known that, I wouldn't have updated the freight machinery.
The lighting was perfect when I took these photos.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
How long will it take if I set out from here?
So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time.
The lighting was perfect when I took these photos.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me.
If I had known that, I wouldn't have updated the trade machinery.
Busted. Take flight. Shine down. Ha!
I must leave no stone unturned.
Kamisato art. Sumetsu. Quietly now. Whirling snow. Things are about to get dicey. There is no escape. Take flight. Gotcha. Torn to oblivion.
Leave it all to me.
Whirling snow. Embrace the ice.
I must leave.
Shine down. There is no escape. Busted. Here comes the catch.
Time to clean up.
My apologies. Inazuma shines eternal. Gotcha. Sakura swirl. Whirling snow. Quietly now. Game's up. Fun's over. Take flight.
Take it easy. Quietly now.
My apologies. Kamisato art.
Now you shall perish! Things are about to get dicey.
Take flight.
Steady as stone, as a good knight should.
Gotcha.
Whirling snow. Sakura swirl.
Illusion shattered.
Leave it all to me.
My apologies.
Here comes the catch. Shine down.
Whirling snow.
There is no escape. Busted.
Take flight.
I must leave no stone un...
Quietly now.
Embrace the ice.
Inazuma shines eternal. Shine down. Busted.
Steady as stone.
Game's up. Fun's over.
My apologies.
Illusion shattered.
Time to clean up. Someone needs assistance. I must leave no stone unturned.
Gotcha.
Take flight. Kamisato art. Sumetsu.
Now you shall perish.
Leave it all to me.
Whirling snow.
Things are about to get dicey. There is no escape.
Sakura swirl.
Shine down.
Steady as stone.
Quietly now. Busted. Game's up. Fun's over.
My apologies. Embrace the ice.
As a good knight should. I must leave no stone unturned.
Illusion shattered. Torn to oblivion. Quietly now. Busted.
Kamisato art. Sumetsu. Whirling snow.
Here comes the catch. Inazuma shines eternal. There is no escape. Gotcha.
Leave it all to me, as a dutiful maid would.
Take flight!
I must leave no...
Game's up. Time's over. Take flight! Illusion shattered! Busted! My apologies!
Leave it all to me.
Shine down!
Kamisato art! Sumetsu!
Now you shall perish!
Steady as stone, as a good knight should.
Quietly now. Things are about to get dicey. Take flight! Sakura swirl! Illusion shattered! My apologies!
Leave it all to me.
Busted! Inazuma shines eternal! Here comes the catch.
Time to clean up.
Whirling snow!
Kamisato art! Sumetsu!
Shine down! Take flight! Gotcha!
Steady as stone.
Game's up. Fun's over. Now you shall perish!
But a momentary distraction.
There's no end to this.
My apologies. I must leave no stone unturned, as a good knight should.
There is no escape!
Busted. Collecting rare and exquisite treasures. Yes, this seems suitably sophisticated. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
I'll think about it.
A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities.
There'll be an extra fee for that.
I'll think about it.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
I'll think about it.
There'll be an extra fee for that.
I'll think about it.
There'll be an extra fee for that.
I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me.
There'll be an extra fee for that.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
I'll think about it.
There'll be an extra fee for that.
So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time.
There'll be an extra fee for that.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Add ast. Thank you for Add ast.
I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me. A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. A blade is like a tea leaf. Only those who sample it many times can appreciate its true qualities.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about you?
Ha! You've got some nerve! You just used us to make some quick mora!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food.
Really? Well, Paimon knows.
Still, what brings you here all of it?
A friend of hers?
Ah, so she mentioned...
She said that you're... Huh?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was...
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh.
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! Ooh, so much...
Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that? If you're serious... From what I've seen... So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be Just think about it. If this... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write... I'm not a dream, but anyway...
That's... so... Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing. Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't no. We've always been moving to the next You mean, still trapped? Huh. Feels like he'll grow, but it's still good.
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermoni.
Yes, I'm Isadora. Not at all. Yes.
Alright.
Well, Lady Farina loudly accusing her, and before she could, the crowd continued.
So people...
I agree.
So what happened?
Seeing that the Marisho say...
So...
That's right. That said, I don't think they're good.
Don't worry. Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, and as we all... When Nervalet was... It would be hard for... Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to relieve the sense of guilt that she's feeling. Huh. Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to back it up, too. In that case, there's no... Deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
I wouldn't go any further if I
A
were you.
blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems. I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me.
I wouldn't go any further if I were you.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler
I wouldn't go any further if I were you.
That's Farina, right over there. She really is.
What was meant... I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but what can I even do? Other than... Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina.
What do you mean, tear stain? Who did that? They even... Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marisho Phantom are freaking out right next to them. Of course not!
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just...
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to get... This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon
What?
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine. I suppose. Hey. No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
Yep, that's it.
What's happening? The ground...
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, did it?
It can't be.
Well, there's no need...
Yeah, but the people of It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy. I've tried but oh my, we cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way. Give up, indeed. Fate. But just now, it all, as long as the don't worry. Well, that's enough for now. Don't take any...
Come on!
That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be a witness. And if to that...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve... Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice. The embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit...
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against... I see. It seems like you have made...
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on?
Well,
Lady Farina.
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear,
Looking for excuses?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world this time. Applaud and rejoice. One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine! The trial of the Hydro Archon, Woohoo!
Oh, now we're... Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, also, even though she's still acting super dramatic,
All right, then. Who will...
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent. Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward.
Navia, the president of the...
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building. Moreover, according to our understanding and so we arranged for a second group.
So, you mean... the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Aranias. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance. Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, also that as soon as I...
Yes, that is...
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine. As for you, traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
Oh?
So, then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to... This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her...
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here. Oh, Leb Hymansi. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect time. So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you... The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood. I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position.
In a single
The
day.
trial shall now begin.
That I didn't witness that scene
Oh,
personally
just
will always be a source of
course.
professional regret,
It is only not.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah,
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Well, I tried to give you the chance. And if I...
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Neuvillette sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium! Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
It seems like nobody's buying Furina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Furina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please?
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our ancestors?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up—
Wow, she came up with yet another that doesn't sound right. Paimon doesn't... that doesn't... It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to—
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor...
super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last— Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, including those... So, Miss Farina, if we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years.
If Lady Farina is indeed just...
Lady Farina.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on?
Due to the inherent risk...
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now?
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please...
Siegewin? Don't be nervous. It'll just...
Please announce the result.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was...
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that...
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare... However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample. It's a great...
I can't... Listen to me, everyone. Please, think about it. Also, if I was really... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your...
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think they're...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cottage. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal.
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No. The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god.
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, is this sentence really appropriate for...
Yeah! Even Vache wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the...
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro... But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! Huh, you finally made it.
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigned...
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try...
I looked everywhere, but has the trial already concluded? Then...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Furina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the... However, I'm uncertain...
Okay, let's try to recall the... Stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Osir... Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed OC. The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were. The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon. Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving in. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first. That doesn't sound quite right. That doesn't sound quite. That doesn't sound quite.
We know from the case of and the this. Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervilette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia. It's not when Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judge. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. The prophecy from the fortress of
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid! The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meripede was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass. The stone slate's content can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truth. Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now. But then it feels like we're good.
Let's hear them.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear?
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that ancient sin.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. The twists of history are often...
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only... Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another... I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin in the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanid's blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian, but it does answer a lot of our questions.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct. A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to...
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, Even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid... In truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the...
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the... However, as for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it. This eruption was just a small warning of the thing.
That doesn't sound...
It was both...
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the prime...
The truth, the original sin, the
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is chosen to make That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that it has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop.
We just barely managed to push it back, right?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of... Even if the...
We've come.
Indeed. I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will... Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could think...
Ultimately, fate shall serve as your...
What's happening with the Oratrice?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina!
No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor. Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the... I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least. Well, I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume... Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god,
I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity, and the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But no, instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human. Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, it's been 500, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera.
Oh, who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my all right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance. I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times, display... Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough. Whirling snow! Coming to art! Submit!
Torn to oblivion!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Time to clean up. There is no escape.
Whirling snow! Ha!
Game's up. Fun's over.
Take flight!
Farina. Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're... mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not...
Mirror me. What do you wish to say?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. I think... I don't know why, but it's in my head somehow. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Oh, very good. You know it well.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember anything clearly. The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy. Will it really come to pass?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things will develop just as the prophecy declared. There is no escaping it.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why you met me today. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat.
Oh, so there's still hope after all. Goodness, you frightened me. You spoke so much and with so much certainty. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if I've already met you as my magical meeting in this world, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my pain on the other, is it not obvious where the scales should tilt?
You truly are the perfect human. My ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Play as... a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like. Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
I'm still not sure I understand, but I'll try. I'll try to do this. So, how long am I going to have to play this role?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until your task ends. But I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
A trial, huh? How exciting. I'll be looking forward to it. The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession, but this is my first time facing the people. What should I say to most appear like a god? To be honest, I still don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Opera Epiclese. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Verena de Fontaine, your new Archon. In truth, as the god Focalor, once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. The future of Fontaine will require us to work together, after all. This should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to convey my thoughts just fine. Okay. And next.
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person, then?
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison-backed puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Oh, this is bad. If I get exposed here, there'll be no saving the people from the prophecy. Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Calm down, Verena. Think. What do the people want? How would they imagine a god to speak and act? A Assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. Oh, very good, my people. Only ones such as you are deserving of my rule. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to one day come onto the stage and claim ownership of this opera house, would the children of Fontaine follow them? Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self, here in this opera house. You may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut that suited the atmosphere. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Her personality. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. On one side, may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of Fontaine. There is no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. All that is needed is for you, my people, to believe in it, heart and soul. So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese, so long as I stand before the Oratrice, I shall even judge the gods of this world!
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now, was I not... Besides...
If I... That's true,
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say.
No need to thank me. All right. Deote...
He's...
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of, I'm afraid things still don't look good.
I see. It's as I thought, then. As your god, I did already expect this, but I wanted to see how far your human wisdom would allow you to analyze it. All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass.
Forget it. That's not something you need to worry about right now.
Well, as I
Really?
I'm...
The day is fine, but it's good. Maybe this is...
Lady Farina?
They'll...
Lady Farina.
Indeed, my...
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant...
Understood. I just... don't know when these days will end. I feel utterly exhausted. Best to rest early today, too.
Lady Farina, it's like a dream being able to speak with you up close like this. I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame Deoteria, almost 20 generations ago.
And what a fine family yours is indeed. It brings me great joy to meet such a faithful believer. A descendant of a line most ardent.
Surely you exaggerate, Lady Farina. My lady?
What is it, good citizen?
Are you crying?
Oh, really now? I didn't even notice. This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters, can I?
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your power, then. Oh, Archon, I am honored to have witnessed it. Honored indeed.
So interminable. So lonely. Just how much longer? Hundreds of years must have passed by now. Perhaps the show must go on for hundreds more. I never imagined that it would hurt so much. Have I reached my limit? No. Perhaps I reached it long ago. Today I didn't even notice my own tears. I want to tell someone, anyone, about this. But would that not destroy all I've done so far? I've conducted so many investigations across the centuries. But there's not even a sliver of hope that we might break the prophecy. All I can do is keep heart. I must maintain this act. It is the only way to save Fontaine. Please, mirror me. You have to succeed.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone, your people are more than willing to share your burden with you.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, you can still choose to confide in someone. Just share it with me. I'm what you'd call a witness.
A witness? Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you? If that's the case... She's right. I could confide in her, couldn't I? But if things don't play out as expected, the people of Fontaine will be the ones to pay the price. No, Farina, you shouldn't be selfish. But what if it's really all right? Farina, you've worked so hard for so long. Surely it would be okay to put yourself first for once. Just this once. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone in whom you can confide your frustrations and sorrows? Surely it could not hurt. If you let this opportunity slip through your fingers, it might never come by again. Think about it long and hard. No, all you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness.
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive yourself. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, it seems that trusting humanity...
I believe that I understand how your deception works. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Ah, good, good. Of course the Iudex of Fontaine has... I'm sure you've long sensed that the oratories...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Linny did mention that he heard a human voice. It now seems that...
And then I became one with the oratories, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice. Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the oratories take down the god of... I mean, did you think I would be... My work over these last 500 years... has been, but really, the vast majority has been, had to be.
It was all part of your plan.
Indeed. This power accrued over 5 centuries, but only...
So the Oratrices, the destruction of that divine throne.
Returning what's right. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet. Oh, what? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite Hydro Dragon. I must say, had it been within my rights, Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And I, for my part, am the god of justice. And speaking of justice, I have always believed that so, if the theft of the primordial sea's then, leaving in other, defying the at this point, Udex nervous.
So when at last, in the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of you are things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervalette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
I, Udex Nervalette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
All the world...
What just happened? Has the death sentence been carried out?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection? I have a feeling that something huge just happened.
But since we're all still alive and haven't been dissolved, I assume whatever happened was good for us.
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
But didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't be defeated?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from that creature. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine, the beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring narwhal. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come. Considering the size of the beast, I cannot reach the power source. Unless we can find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon power. We shall look for an opening together.
Busted.
Feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
There is no escape! Sakura Swirl! Whirling Step! Now you shall perish! Shine down!
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself.
Look, steady as stone.
Illusion shattered! Gotcha! Here.
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
Break the ice! Inazuma shines eternal! Take flight! Leave it all to me. Quietly now. Shine down! Whirling snow! Busted! There is no escape! Sakura Swirl!
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but... oh well. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought.
Exactly.
Paimon has said earlier she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world. So you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative, it eats too much, and I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the point.
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's master's master. Wait, is that right?
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sertologi.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe him then? Have you heard of the name The Fowl?
The Fowl?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfulnir then? Or Gold Rhine-Daughter?
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhine-Daughter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine-Daughter. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Furina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
All hands, initiate emergency rescue! Hurry!
Hey, lend a hand!
Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you right?
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong. The soul renewed. The Spina di Rosula talks post-disaster rebuilding. I recently visited Poisson to meet with Miss Navia, spokesperson of the Spina di Rosula, and we spoke about Poisson's present and future. Old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia stated. Hope is like seeing a small cookie when you're starving late at night. You just need a little of it. Skyship Winglet, boon or bane of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. Edwin have suddenly become a shield over the Institute, with Jurier turning out to be a once overlooked hidden gem. People always call the first researcher mad, but few know what to call the second. And should that latter person achieve a miracle, they would find it all the harder to find a word with which to classify him and his team. Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Juria or Navia? They sound like real big shots.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, we would print a free edition packed to the margins with good news to calm people down. The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further reports and go into the stories behind those people. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia is leading people in the reconstruction of their home. I'm sure that these stories could draw even your well-traveled eye. And that's exact.
Are you
Oh, this time we'll be.